Well, so this is me pretending to be a knife reviewer. Now, I definitely don't have the expertise that the best people on YouTube do, but I do have a few observations about this knife. It's getting a lot of attention right now. So this is this Ozark Trail 7.5 inch folding knife. It's D2 steel blade. It's from Walmart and it's causing quite a stir. I bought one yesterday just to check it out. So let's get it out of the package, and you can see that it very much resembles a Benchmade bug out. Now, just to be clear, I've never even handled a bug out, so any comparisons here you can take with a grain of salt. It does have a more than passing resemblance, though, I would say. And since those knives are going anywhere from 150 to 270 or maybe more in some configurations, this for $10 is quite a score if it's any good. So is it? I'd say so. The action is quite good. Crossbar lock works very well. Now, I do have to say that there's sharp edges on these thumb studs and on the crossbar lock, and they tend to hurt my thumb after a while, like that. If you're going to fidget with it a lot, that may be an issue. If you're just going to use it as a knife, opening it once in a while, then probably not. But it's quite a deal for the price, probably unbeatable. I find, though, it does have kind of a cheap feel in the hand. This clip, although it looks good, is very tight, which I guess is an asset, especially if you're going to be carrying a lightweight knife like this on nylon jogging shorts or something like that. So how much does it weigh? I don't know if I saw that listed anywhere or not, so let's just weigh it. Comes in at 79.5 grams, which is 2.81 ounces. Not bad. Like I say, if you get it just right, it flips open with authority. I'm not a big fan of thumb studs, so it's probably just me when it fails like that. Quite easy, though, if you do it right. I find it's easier to just use the crossbar lock to open it. That works very well, and the fact that it just drops shut is pretty impressive. Now, mine is not totally centered, if you can see that, but it's damn close. I know one reviewer said their blade was a little bit tweaked. And this one might be the very slightest amount, but I can't really detect it without a straight edge on it. The main problem with mine is this area right up here on the blade that first interfaces with the crossbar lock is very rough. I can feel it just really rough right there when I pull it. Now, I could take it apart and smooth that out, and maybe I will, although I'm a little bit torn in whether I should keep it or not. I mean, for $10, it's not a big loss, and it is definitely a good knife for the money. No, I don't need it. It's very slim stock. I did use it for a little food prep earlier, and it worked just fine. although it's really not that sharp out of the box. It's not dull. Well, actually, it's looking better than it did before. Maybe using it a little bit improved it. It's actually not bad. So, this was the latest and greatest in the Ozark Trail knives. I actually have more than that. Last year or so, this was the Ozark Trail that causing a stir for only $6. And it's also a crossbar lock. The steel is unidentified, probably 7CR, MOV 13 or worse. I don't know. I haven't used it enough to really tell, but it actually feels sturdier in the hand than this new one, I think. And there's none of that roughness, really. Well, yeah, there's a little. Okay, but it doesn't hurt my finger, but it doesn't flip open nearly as easily or close as easily as the newer one. That's for sure. Then there was the one I carried for 3 or 4 years when I lost my Almar in the couch for 4 years. This is before I was really getting into knives again. And I built my own fixed blade 50 years ago. But I just always carried a pocket knife, but I wasn't that particular. Didn't know much about knife steels or anything like that. I carried this and I was happy with it. It did the job, but then I wanted something better. So I ended up buying a Civivi, which is very nice, and then on and on and on, more and more. So here's another Ozark Trail that a friend of mine gave me, and I cannot open it one-handed. It's so stiff. Never bothered to try to sharpen it. So crude. I hate these kind of clips. I think they're ugly. And you can see probably that it's almost all the way over the liner lock on the blade. So when that wears to a point that it goes past it, we'll have a problem. No side play or up and down play though. Now that's unlike this one, which is very well used, and it's got some considerable side play. I can tighten it up and take some out, but then it's harder to open. This one, I'm not feeling more than just a tiniest hint. This one, I didn't feel any at first, but now I am starting to. And it's got the smallest ball bearings I've ever seen in it. Okay, so these are the Ozark Trails I have right now. This one I've never even opened. I think I paid $4 for that. I was going to give it away as a gift. This one a friend found and gave me. I've never really used it. This one I carried for like 3 years or something. Did the job. This one I bought when there was all the hype around it. Oh, by the way, I think I paid $3.87 for this one. This one was $6 for going up in price. Never really used this one that much. Carried it some. Mostly kept it in the glove compartment of my truck. Now, this is the latest and greatest. And at $10, still quite a deal. So that's my thoughts on it. Drop shut. I mean, if I manage to manipulate it right. Flips open good. Drop shut good. Thumb. If I get it just right, sometimes don't. Pretty often actually. And like I said, these are sharp and hurt my fingers. It does have a little bit of play now. Some people have had to readjust theirs. Let's see. That looks like it's probably a T8. That's right, it's a T8. Okay. Give it just a little tweak. Yeah, that took care of the blade play. Let's see if it still drops shut. Got a little more resistance. Now it may break in, of course. When I get a new knife, I tend to sit in front of the TV doing this hundreds of times to smooth out the bearings and let it kind of break in before I add any oil, because if you add oil first, it will take a lot longer. So that's my theory anyway. But this has that rough spot on that one locking area of the blade, which causes me some grief. They may not all have that. I don't know. Anyway, though, that took care of the blade play. It's a very handy little kit here. Very nice. A few Walmart knives that I have. I don't want to give you the impression that I'm an Ozark Trail fan. I more or less happened on all the hype. But here's a few other things I've got. A couple of Kubis I like a lot. This is a Tucson, a petrified fish, artisan cutlery. It's the most expensive knife I own. This is a GT Knives with a button lock in the pivot, which people are claiming is a new thing. It isn't. This knife, I'm not quite sure how old it is, but it's at least 6 or 8 years, I would say. And it has no pocket clip like most of them. So I was told it might be a prototype or a special run. You know, I'm glad it doesn't have a pocket clip, because their pocket clips are the ugliest things I've ever seen. So here's my Civivi, probably the first good knife I bought in years and years. CJRB, CRKT, CJRB again. This is a cheap little tuna fire that's actually quite nice. Green micarta. Very nice action. Also D2 steel. This is a Gerber a friend gave me. This is, well, this might be considered the first good knife I've bought in years. This is a Kershaw, which was kind of an internet sensation. When this came out, it was only like $12. I bought that even though I thought it was a little small. This is the Almar. It was so long lost in my couch with an ugly replaced thumb stud because I lost the original. This is another off-brand war spear I bought because I had nothing in 14C 28N blade steel. And it's nice, except it's a front flipper, and I am no good at flipping it. This is as well a cheap knife, a Cormoran. I bought it just because I love this blade shape. It was on a $177 knife. I saw this exact same blade, and I saw this. I think I ordered it off AliExpress for $24 or something. And it's pretty good. I mean, it never fails to just fly open. Another Kubi. Probably the most recent thing I bought. A little weird, but we're having a closeout on D2 blade steel knives, and I got it for $25, no tax, no shipping. But more relevant to the cheap Ozark Trails, I have this Ganzo. And even though I thought it was kind of ugly, it was on sale and I got it for like, I think $11.50. It's 440C blade steel, which isn't bad really, and it's much heftier in the hand and sturdier than that new Ozark Trail for only $1.50 more. But that was a special deal on sale. I think they're normally about $20 knife originally. Probably they're discontinued now, but Ganzo makes good cheap knives if you want to step up a little bit from the Ozark Trail. The only problem with this one is the Omega springs in this crossbar lock are so tight. There's no way I am gonna be able to flip it open, but I just bought it as a camp knife. It's sturdy and got a lanyard on it, easy to fish it out of my pocket. But those crossbar locks are way too strong. There's Omega springs in there. Maybe I'll take it apart one day and see if I can drill some holes and move it like Kaiser does on their drop bear or whatever. So anyway, there's my attempt at being a knife reviewer. Leave any comments, suggestions, whatever, please. Goodbye.